2000, there have been several instances of mixed infection, and the severity has increased to a greater scale. So making the problem more difficult to find a solution. So we made RNA construct, and we followed similar protocol. First we tested this RNA construct in tobacco. You can see here the transgenic tobacco with this construct are resistant to brown stick virus infection. However, the non-transgenic ones are severely infected, and we screened them for the accumulation of small RNA, because we wanted to be really thorough and robust in coming up with a transgenic event. So we saw different levels of accumulation of small RNA. It's very important that you identify a plant line excuse me, you identify a plant line that accumulates good amount of small RNA, because if your transgene is not expressing well, if it has got integrated in certain part of the plant genome which is not responsive, then you may not, although you have developed a transgenic, but that may not be good expressor and may not give up the real trait that you want, that you are waiting for. So it's very important that you look for the transgenic plant line that is capable of accumulating good amount of small RNA. So we screen them. So it's a good molecular tool. So so there are several strains, that are, excuse me. There are several strains that are involved in this disease. So we wanted to screen if the transgenic developed is giving cross protection to all different strains. So we screened for that. And in particular, we found those transgenic lines that were accumulating good amount of small RNA, were giving good cross protection against different strains of this brown stick virus. However, those plant lines which accumulated average levels of small RNA or less amount of small RNA were incapable of giving cross protection. So when you develop a transgenic plant based on RNAi, it's very important that you identify those plant lines which are expressing high level of small RNA and are accumulating high levels of small RNA, so that the resistance level is quite high and it has a capability to give cross protection against those viral strains which may have minor levels of sequence variation. Because the very basic principle of RNAi is homology based gene silencing. However, that may not be really strict. If there are few mismatches in a region outside that of the seed region, which is this is a small RNA of 21 nucleotides, and it's very important to have 100% homology in the seed region, but not elsewhere in the other part of the small RNA. If there are one or two mismatches, that can be tolerated and the trait can be obtained. So similar way, like I explained before, transgenic cassava were developed against brown stick virus, and initial greenhouse experiments were done to check for the resistance, and then we developed facility in African countries like Uganda and Kenya, created tissue culture lab for large scale multiplication of these transgenic plants, and developed field layouts to carry out controlled field trials, and field trials were done in Africa. And here you can see this beautiful crop which is totally free from brown stick virus infection. And here is a comparison of transgenic and the control. On the control stem, you can see a lot of brown stick that is not visible on the transgenics. And when you pull out the plant and look at the cross section of these roots, you can see transgenics are totally free from any brown necrosis. However, in the control, you see a lot of necrosis. We really wanted to have solid proof to know the molecular basis of this resistance. So hence, we collected samples from here, and screened them, checked them for the accumulation of small RNA. And we were happy to see good amount of small RNA being expressed in all these transgenic lines, even in the field trials. Now, many times what happens is your trait is expressed well, probably in the lab or in the greenhouse in controlled conditions, but when it is taken into the whole open field, it may fail to give that trait. So, and we wanted to see this look at excuse me, we wanted to look at the stability of this trait across different vegetative propagation cycles, and a couple of stem cutting cycles were screened for brown streak virus. And since tapioca is vegetatively propagated, and across 4 or 5 generations, we checked for the stability of the trait, and there were some lines which were really stable in giving virus resistant trait. Some of them showed milder infection, so we selected the particular lines that was really stable and gave good amount of resistance. So then we carried out multiple location trial and multiple cropping cycle trials, and the resistant trait was really stable across different locations. That was quite encouraging, and it shows how successfully the RNAi technology has been employed in this particular crop plant to introgress virus resistance. And this is also valid in the field trials. And later on, any transgenic plant or any genetically engineered plant will have several regulatory tests to be done to check for its allergy and other things, several mice or rabbit based tests. So all those were done, and all right. So I'll recently, this is a news from published on 15th May 2020, and this says this particular organization, Calrose, it was seeking approval for disease-resistant GM cassava, and you can see how this virus-resistant tapioca, how good yield these African farmers are showing up here in the picture, and there are all the efforts made to release this for farmers cultivation in Kenya and maybe in other African countries. And there are also efforts of genome editing. I think it's already 12:38. I was given time up to 12:30. In 5 minutes, I would like to wind up. Genome editing is also widely used, and this has been used against this brown streak virus. By editing the 2 genes that may be involved in resistance against brown streak virus, that are susceptible genes which result in brown streak virus infection. When you mutate these genes, the virus is not able to infect the cassava crop. So this genome editing has been used to control several other viral diseases in rice tuber virus, and against several Gemini viruses in tomato. It's a table showing use of genome editing tools against tomato viruses, beet curly top virus. So now a new Cas has been identified that is called as Cas13, that even can target RNA viruses. So this is also being employed to gain resistance against RNA viruses. So, whatever I discussed is an outcome of team efforts. Several, researchers were involved. Large team was there, working day and night to come up with this virus-resistant transgenic cassava. and with a good amount of funding by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Buffett Foundation, Monsanto, USAID. This is our team, and this is the main PI, Dr. Fouquet. So now, there are efforts to substitute the pesticide for insect control with dsRNA that can target, these double-stranded RNA, which can be synthesized in the lab by in vitro transcription or in bacterial cells, can be extracted, isolated, and sprayed on the plants to get resistance against viruses or any other disease. This is being tried. And it has, the results have been seen in some of the plants against certain viruses. And we recently published this control of Popperian ring spot virus using double-stranded RNA mediated protection against two different distinct isolates of Popperian ring spot virus. So, all right, that's what I wanted to say. Recently, a book edited by me was published, titled as Genes, Genetics, and Transgenics for Virus Resistance in Plants. So, published by this Keister Publishers based in UK. Interested people may explore possibility of fetching this out and to read this. My lab also did extensive work on characterizing sterility mosaic disease of pigeon pea. We have identified several different, there are two different species causing sterility mosaic disease, and we have thoroughly characterized and looked at the diversity of this virus. That's all I wanted to share. I leave it to organizers to take up this and take up for further discussion.
Thank you, sir. It was a very informative information. You have covered all the things like GM, CRISPR, your traditional viral resistant and genes. So I hope it's very helpful to all our viewers. So there is a question answer box. Those are attend from the Zoom. They have put it some question. We selected a few of them. You can go and go through it and answer any 4 or 5. Not necessary you have to answer all of them.
Okay.
There is a 11 question that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
One is quite relevant to the recent work that I did when I was in NRCPB Delhi. That's about PPSMB1. Yeah, we have published this work. There is an RT-PCR based differential PCR that we have developed, which can distinguish between both the species, PPSMB1 and 2. So it may not be difficult to distinguish them. It's published in the journal Viruses in 2017. You can refer to that. And the second question by Supratim Ghosh is meristem culture coupled with thermotherapy better for virus elimination? Yeah, it's a good question. Classically, and even now, but there is extensive banana tissue culture, several commercial activities for supply of banana plantlets, virus-free plantlets. Not only banana, even other horticultural crops using meristem culture considered to be virus-free. It works well for those viruses which are not seed transmitted, but I'm not sure if it works well for the viruses that are seed transmitted. And thermotherapy is another technique that was classically used. Yes, high temperature is always deleterious for virus proliferation, and giving thermotherapy help in containing the virus, and that is what we see. Even in control of coronavirus and reducing the symptoms, people advise us drinking hot water, going for salt water gargling and all that, and the same holds true for against plant viruses. Harshita KN asks, why is the management of viruses still a problem? Whether their genome undergo mutation readily to target particular gene, that the whole globe is seeing it, how difficult it is to manage this coronavirus. They are very fast mutating, and since many of the viruses are RNA viruses, their genome replication don't have proofreading ability, and the mutations in them are quite rampant, and many of them might be lethal, or some of them might result in more virulent viruses and may have higher capability to get transmitted and to expand their host. um, so that's what happened, corona, from bats, it has moved to human beings via pangolin or whatever, different hypothesis. Similar things happen in plants also. Even DNA viruses, they show high level of recombinations. Since their replication rate is quite fast, accumulations of mutations is also quite rampant in these viruses. Not only mutations, even recombinations haste the process of evolution of these viruses. What's more fatal in terms of economic loss, white powdery mildew or citrus canker, uh, to be very honest, this really citrus, powdery mildew or any fungal or bacterial disease, there are certain fungicides that can be employed for control of this. But for citrus canker, we don't have any chemical. Not only citrus canker, for many of the viral diseases, we don't have a chemical to control them. So, although these mildews, fungal diseases might be quite rampant, but there are ways to control them chemically. But that's not true with viral diseases, including the citrus canker. Question on PPSMV: if we could able to separate, we can develop diagnostic tool. And yeah, this has been developed by RT-PCR, but if you want to take it to the farmers field, people may explore for technologies like LAMP, which is easy to do, wherein you really don't need a PCR machine. Just as to one particular temperature, you can do, an assay. Or people may develop antibody related to techniques, ELISA related or other things. From TNAU, there is one question: mixed infection of multiple viruses in single crop, how the cross protection mechanism is possible under such cases? See, mixed infection, it's a different thing. Mixed infection of different strains of the same virus, or mixed infection of two different species of virus. If there is an early infection by a mild strain, it may give resistance to a severe strain of virus which may infect the plant subsequently. However, if it's entirely different species of virus, that may not really give resistance to a subsequent viral infection. So tomato crop, yeah, you have seen that, recently in Maharashtra, there was a report of severe damage, and 12 viruses have been reported. All of them are different viral species. That Akhilesh Kushwa, I know him. He is in IISc Bangalore, former student of my supervisor in Delhi University. He is asking, my question is that there is huge scope for improvement in transgene-free CRISPR methodologies. How can their efficiency be increased? How can ribonucleoprotein complex be delivered to avoid laborious screening? I really can't answer your ribonucleoprotein. I don't know if you have got a research grant on this particular aspect. That's why you are more curious. But CRISPR is a good option to come up with, with engineered crops which may not be labeled as transgenics. You can have marker-free technologies. For that, you really need good breeding strategies also that needs to be used in combination with transgenic technology. And Archana asked, SA and JA as external application can induce any resistance against plant viruses? Yes, they may induce, but question is it really economically feasible? What is the cost of salicylic acid or jasmonic acid that can be commercially used? So these are the things. Not all of them, they may not respond, but it's only for those which show hypersensitive response. For them, they may work. Some of them may not show hypersensitive response, so for them it may not work. Karthik is asking management of particular virus. Let me not get it. What is the level of resistance in viruses with silencing suppressor? Silencing suppressor, Anthony Jansen, I think I know him, is a good target against RNAi. So it's not only the importance of gene, you know, some of the target sequences may not be efficient in producing good amount of small RNAs because of certain sequence features. So there are several bioinformatic tools which helps you to identify those good sequences which can be good targets and which can form good double-stranded RNA structures, resulting in you know, better processing by dicer molecules and better production of small RNA. So that all that homework one has to do. You know, there is no shortcut for any of this. If you try shortcuts, then you may end up with disasters. So Geeta Govind is asking mechanism known of how the sterility is caused by viruses. See, in real terms, sterility does not mean that the flowers produced are sterile. That is, the flowers produced are defective in producing fertile pollens or ovules. Sterility is a misnomer. It's called sterility because the flower production goes down significantly. So that's why it's called as sterility. Otherwise, any flowers that would be produced are fertile, but historically it is called as sterility mosaic disease. So this name is there. How to control effectively papaya mosaic virus? Currently we don't have papaya mosaic virus. I think he wanted to ask papaya ring spot virus. How to control it effectively? Control aphids. You know, start with good plants. When you select there are no good certification programs like that are there for banana. For papaya, I think they are not there. So that needs to be employed, because the mother plant, if it is virus infected, and all the propagules derived from that may have ring spot virus. So it's strong certification programs are important. Control aphids by insect pesticides is also important. Some of the popular papaya varieties are susceptible to ring spot virus, so you may have to compromise. And how does protein or molecular docking helps in control of viral diseases in protein plants? This is a structural biologist question. Protein docking, it's not really very clear. I'm not going to answer this, I'm sorry. How can we effectively control the virus? Please don't expect immediate control for virus that you are seeing. 101 countries are making efforts to control this coronavirus. Until now, we are not closer to the control. Similarly, the scenario in plant, but we are not feeling the pinch because the plants are feeling the pinch. So nowadays we can see some antiviral chemicals for controlling plant viral diseases in market. What are your views on those? Good question. People are marketing with the name of antiviral thing, and we saw this for coronavirus also, like Coronil and other things. Probably they work as immunity boosters. Maybe in the plants also they boost their plant immunity, but they may not be really antiviral. They may help in repelling certain insect pests that are good vectors for these viral diseases, or indirectly they may enhance production of jasmonic acid or salicylic acid, which indirectly may boost up the immunity of the plants against these viruses. How many viruses were there in tomato infected in Maharashtra? Is it 12 viruses? Yes, they detected 12. Maybe if they have missed something, I don't know. Only next generation sequencing, thorough bioinformatic analysis may give you the exact answer. But maybe in the lab they had some of the diagnostic tools to detect some of the